enjoy your day in Rhodes today, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
This one, my last, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. No, stop.
Very characteristic, more windmills, and the fortress of St. Nicholas at the end of the mall. Actually, windmills here used to be 11 for the defense of this harbor, and in the ancient times, this was the military harbor of the city. Nowadays, it's a lovely young harbor. We see again the tower of the Grand Master's Palace, which means that this is where the Colossus of Rhodes actually stood. But now we will pass the legendary location in a minute. Take a look onto your left. All these buildings that you see were constructed in between 1923 and 1943. Italians' occupation. So we had the rule of the knights for 200 years. Up to 1522. Then we had a long Ottomans rule up to 1912, when the Italians came, and in the times of Mussolini, 1923, when they got full jurisdiction over the islands, they constructed here. Mussolini wanted to construct here the public services of the city. For example, this is the Court of Justice. We passed the Central Bank, the market. Here's the Port Police authorities, the Post Office, the police headquarters, the Town Hall, the Governor's Palace, the Cathedral. So in this way, he wanted to create the Roman Forum. We used the buildings as they were designed to be used. And this is the beautiful and very characteristic entrance to this harbor with the two deer you can see on the colors. This is an endemic species, and it is actually a symbol of the city and of the island, but at the same time it is a protected species. Now Fortress of St. Nicholas again. To our right, the cathedral of the city, of the island. It is dedicated to the Annunciation of Virgin Mary. Actually, as a construction, as a building, it is an exact copy of the original Cathedral of the Order of the Knights of St. John. The original cathedral was in the old town, and it exploded in 1856. So the Italians decided to have its copy built here, and it is now used as a Greek Orthodox church. The town hall, over on the left, the Marion, the National Theatre, over on the left again, and to the right, in Venetian style now, the Italians constructed the Governor's Palace. So here is still the Governor's Palace. The medical flights of Rhodes, more Orientalist, more playful style, and the style of Mussolini, linear, and the buildings actually, the Italians changed the facades of the buildings before the 30s. Everything looked more Oriental, but then we come in the 30s, and there was a new governor coming here, De Becky, and he decided that during those years of purification, all the facades should be changed to this more austere and imposing, let's say. And in fact, the same thing happened to the Grande Albergo delle Rose, where now we have the Casino of Rhodes. Also that one, if you see old photographs, it was in the Oriental style, and then it became one of the big fascist style, as the Italians call it, because it reminds of the years of fascism and Mussolini on the East Coast, but very calm on the West. So there's a lot of people that continue, swimming throughout the year, and usually in the winter months you see them over here. And across the water, you see the land, the mountains. You know what that is? Oh, Turkey, very well. You were there? You were there. Where were you? Izmir and Istanbul. So you didn't go to Ephesus? No.
Yeah, we did.
You did? You did. Okay, some of you did, some didn't. Okay. So anyway, Izmir, Ephesus, they are all on the same coast, and it's the coast we see in front of us, just north. We are very south here in Rhodes. We are down the southeast Aegean Sea, we are down the southeast Mediterranean, we are the eastern of the Greek islands. 21 miles away from Turkey, from harbor to harbor. So from coast to coast it can be even closer, but from harbor to harbor is 21 miles to the harbor of Marmaris. That is a small touristic town, so we have constant exchange of guests from here to there, from there to here. That is, in the summer times we are always in peace without winds. So we are going to Pilaremos, and Pilaremos is the hill that you see in front of us with this table form. Yeah. So it's a plateau, that is where we're going. That was the higher part, still is, of an ancient city that was called Ialissos. And here, where we are driving now, we are driving almost at the feet of a hill where on the top of it, another plateau, there was the top of the city of Rhodes. Do you know how we call it in Greek? The top of the city? Acropolis. What did you say? Acropolis. You know so much Greek. Oh, thank you. You came home. You took lessons. Graves, acro, means top, extremity, high part, limit. It depends on how you combine it. So, in the word acropolis, as polis means city, it's the top of the city. Then we have it in the word acrobat, it means walking on extremities. We have it in the word acrophobia, it means fear of heights. Phobia, fear of heights. And about the word polis, that one gives origin to many words, like politics, politician, political, policy. What else? Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Metropolis. Metropolis, the mother city, literally. A big city, meaning originally the mother city, as the ancient Rhodians, part of them were also people from this area of the Alices. Around the 6th century, they set out to colonize different areas in the Mediterranean. They went to Sicily. We have a big colony of theirs in Sicily. So Ialissos, in that case, was the metropolis, the mother city, where they had left from. And in our language today, that means a big city, metropolis. And then another word that we use is cosmopolitan, right? Cosmos, the world. So citizen of the world, that's the cosmopolitan. Cosmos in Greek, of course it means the world, but how the ancient Greeks intended the world, because the word cosmos actually means jewel, who would they connect? And so every temple of Athena, including the Parthenon in Athens, in the 5th century AD, all these temples were transformed to churches dedicated to Virgin Mary. And this is what we have most probably here as well. But the fact is that here we have earthquakes as well. And we know for sure that the 4th century BC temple got destroyed in the 5th century AD. In fact, on top of its ruins today, we find the ruins of a church that these people built after that earthquake. And so that one, of course, was dedicated to Virgin Mary. Then, 12th century, according to the story, because this is a traditional story and this is more like a legend, Monte Smith, the Mount of Smith, this English admiral that in the beginning of 1800s was given permission by the Ottomans to have an observation point of view during Napoleon Wars. So the name remains Monte Smith, but of course for every one of us it is the Acropolis of ancient Rhodes. And from the other side we have a view of the city, down below the harbor, the main harbor. Today, 2 big ships and a smaller one, if I'm not wrong. The big one to the right is your ship, you can see it. And then it's the Resilient Lady, and another ship that I don't see for the moment, but I know it's there. So, Temple of Apollo, right here. I explained to you why we have the scaffolding here, you remember? Everything that was used was original material when they did the restoration works. And in those years, in the 30s, the system they were using was this. They were perforating the original columns, placing the pieces one on top of the other. She was the moon. So brother and sister, like St. Francis said, sun and moon. She was considered as the protector of earths, not only a huntress. Actually, she was also considered as the protector of wildlife and wild animals. So, the Italians did excavations here. They started 1921 here to do excavations. They did the excavations at the upper part where the temples were. This was the most obvious, let's say, thing where to look for ruins, because part of these ruins were visible, actually. And then they start digging down, because imagine that from the temple down, it was just a hill, yeah? So this was all covered by soil and vegetation. So they started digging further, deeper, and they found the stadium. So what you see is the ancient stadium of Rhodes. To uncover all this, they had to remove tons of soil from here. This is where the Rhodians were celebrating their god every year in springtime with the games. So the games were always part of a celebration. The games were for the musical contests. Then we have lots of ruins when you look under the trees. So this is all ruins of gymnasiums, palestras. That means all the spaces that the young athletes in the ancient times needed for their preparation. So this is now a big archaeological park. This is what I meant when I was speaking about the archaeological law. So this was public use. It stays public use. In fact, it's an open park. Everybody can visit. A lot of people come here for training or just jogging in the morning or in the afternoon. We love to bring our children out here to play. You walk your dog, you know, and all these little things that you do during your free time. So this is the number one, I would say, on the island of Rhodes, most visited free space is this one. Yeah. And underneath our feet, it's one of the ancient streets. So actually the most of the ancient streets are right on top of the streets of today, I meant, are right on top of the ancient ones. And very soon we will be walking inside the walls of the old town. So this was a big residential area of ancient times, and it is residential area still today. But it's not only the earthquakes, there is other things as well. And around the 7th century AD, that means when these Arabs came and occupied the city for a short time, the ones that took away the material of the Colossus, in the whole Mediterranean,